So, okay, so this one is from a channel hidden in the fog, and apparently, well, this is from Cheryl, Malaya's friend. Remember the photo at the beach? I think that's Cheryl, right? Um, she's calling in, and Logan is calling in right afterwards. And Cheryl is Malaya's friend, and Logan is Daniel's cousin. And Logan is here to do damage control for Daniel.
Welcome, Cheryl.
Oh, there. Hi, thanks.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to touch on
Hi, thanks. She sounds a little bit like Malaya, but hey, we got a picture of both of them together, right?
a few things. I was actually there on Friday myself, and
Okay,
I
so
was...
hold.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. You were where on Friday, and which Friday, and where are you from?
It was May 2nd. I live in Truro. I'm good friends with Malaya.
It's always weird when some of these people, they do so much rhetoric to present themselves as very professional, but then they don't get it at all. You know, when they're being lied to in the statements, and yeah.
I just wanted to kind of touch on a few things that you said. So we were the ones that actually found the blanket, and as far as I knew, the blanket was on the railing, not in the garbage. And Malaya didn't leave Saturday morning. It was Saturday evening because an altercation had broken out, and Daniel's mother actually tried to attack me. So it was well after supper Saturday when she actually left the premises.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
Logan.
Is that sorry? Is that?
I didn't know if I muted myself or not. I don't know how these things work. Yeah, so I just want...
There'll be a lot of ding battery going on here, but so let's just let's listen for it.
to
Okay. So hold on a minute. Hold on.
Yep.
Logan McKenzie is here.
Yep.
Logan, would you mind?
Surprise! Logan shows up when Cheryl shows up, because Logan figures she can fix it for Daniel on his behalf, and she thinks very highly of herself. No reason to, but she does. Let's see what she's gonna say.
Coming up in the chat.
I can drop down for her, Susan.
No, I have lots of room. Okay, I'm going to have Logan come up because I do know Logan very well. Well, not very well.
No, you do not. You interviewed her and you believe her deception and her lies. You don't know her at all. You don't know her like I know her. Because I know what her statements are actually saying. But there's a reason she chooses somebody like you.
Personally, but she's been on the live. I absolutely...
You know her very well. Well, I don't know her personally. I'm not very well personally. But you know her, but she needs to qualify it now. To not sound completely full of it. But she's been on the live. Yeah, that's all. She's been on the live. She lied to you. She, she's shown me who she is and what her intentions are. Her priorities, leakage, avoidance, intentions, deception, and sensitivities. Plaids. Plaids.
know her, and I mean...
I absolutely know her. What kind of nonsense is that? Because she's been on your live. She wasn't even talking to you. She was talking to the public. She was talking at you, to the public. Yes, I would be very nice to her too. I mean, it's probably too late for that. But if I had her on, I would ask her, I would have 5 questions ready. I wouldn't probably need all of them because uh, I, I I would have follow-up questions based on her answers, based on her avoidances, based on her leakage, because it would be a red flag theater, a red flag parade. And I would, and of course I would be nice to her. But after that, I will analyze. I analyze during a conversation. I mean, this is how habitual it's become to me that when people talk to me, I know immediately at least their intentions. And I mean, look at that stuttering going on.
Absolutely zero offense to you, Cheryl, but I
It
don't.
would be great if these people chose somebody more qualified to talk to, but that's not what they want. They want somebody who goes along with them, who, just like Illuminati does with Chris Proudfoot and Granny, all these people.
Know you, but I do know Logan.
You don't know Cheryl, no offense to you. Well, you're happy that Logan was the first one to appear on your channel and put you on the map. That's it.
Logan, over that weekend. I think I met her Saturday,
She remembers
maybe.
Logan.
I can't quite remember exactly who she is, but I do remember meeting her.
Okay, so Logan is going. There we go. Thank you, Logan, for coming up. And let me just say this. I need to warn people of this. We have 142 people in the room. Be aware that we are on the internet. We've got 143 people in the room. There will be twice that watching who are not in the channel. Anybody can be screen recording this and what you say. And it can go on the internet anywhere.
Yeah.
So I just want to put it out there and just give a warning before you say stuff. Just make sure that what you say is, Hey, Logan, how are you?
Not too bad.
And Logan knows this firsthand, don't you, Logan?
Not too bad. You see, she can't wait to talk. She cannot wait to discredit her and whatever she's saying.
Yes.
Yes.
My name is dragged all over the internet now.
Yeah. Look,
your name is dragged all over the internet right now. Your lies are being exposed. Your deception. You're expecting to be able to lie and deceive, and only the people who are dumb enough to believe you, to give you comments about how brave you are, how nice you sound.
Logan was on my live weeks ago and for quite a while. And it was very, very unfortunate. Somebody screen recorded the entire thing and then...
Not unfortunate at all. This is a criminal case. 2 missing children. What do you want, a private party?
And splice and dice the entire thing, taking out pieces, not...
That's not what I do. If somebody does it, then that's what that person does. Other people see through the lies. Trust me, I know Logan a lot better than you do because of her statements, because I know how to analyze statements. And I don't get, how should I call it, sycophantic or starstruck or whatever. Everybody's words, I assume you're going to tell me the truth. And I let you talk me out of it. And Logan has talked me out of it again and again and again. And given me some valuable information with that.
Putting in pieces correctly, because Logan actually gave an enormous amount of support to Malaya.
No, she had an agenda. She had intentions behind that. To take Meadow and have protect her cousin. Her intentions were not good towards Malaya, but good towards Daniel. He didn't want to lose control over that family situation. And she knew it. By the way, everything I'm saying is my opinion only. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. And let's continue with this. This is an interpretation that that her actions were support towards Malaya. They were not. They were support only for Daniel. But she masked it as support towards Malaya. And idiotic moderators, they fall for this. And they pass it on as truth. And that's why I'm here, to put a stop to it.
And of course, that was all removed. So I just want people.
What was removed? Her talking about how good she was for Malaya, just like Daniel talked about how much he's done for the children, how much he has searched and all of that. We don't go by this. We go by facts here. And if they state something, yeah, sure, I will analyze it. And I can guarantee you there'll be so many red flags in that. And so many indications as to what her real intentions were. I would love to see it. Unless you're referring to something that's already been examined and was in that version that I heard. I think I heard the whole version.
To be aware that this can happen.
Silence.
So thanks for joining us. So anyway, carry on. Cheryl, I don't know, what were you saying?
That was just it. That we left Saturday evening, not
after the briefing.
morning.
After the briefing on Lance.
No, it was after the altercation.
Immediately she wants to correct her, right? Immediately Logan wants to correct her. And put her in her place, discredit her.
You left, but Malaya didn't.
We all left. Malaya
No.
left with her mother. I
Yes.
left. My sister left. My sister-in-law left. We all left at the same time.
Yes, but the altercation was before the briefing, honey.
And then
She likes to use honey, right? Again, this is very dismissive. Her tone immediately. She thinks that she's the smarter cousin, and she wants to take charge, and she's calling her honey, like belittling her.
there was one.
And that's, of course, because she's a friend of Malaya's, and she doesn't want another version introduced other than her own narrative.
And after, because you're.
And they probably told her, listen, we got Cheryl coming on. And Logan said, I gotta call in. I'm worried now what's gonna be leaked or what's gonna happen.
Your mother was involved in that one.
Yes, and that's when we were
Yes.
saying about the car. And then I don't know who came back looking for the cell phone, and we were trying to get Malaya's grandmother to leave the house. Yes.
Yes.
But Malaya left right after the briefing. You guys did it. Malaya left right from the.
And then there was one after because your mother was involved in that one.
Yes, and that's when we were.
Who's saying that? Your mother was involved in that one. She's talking about Logan's mother, because Logan already said her mother was involved in the altercation.
Saying about the car. And then I don't know who came back looking for the cell phone.
The car, right? What was wrong with the car? Malaya's car? What exactly was the altercation or the argument about the car? That's interesting too.
And we were trying to get Malaya's grandmother to leave the house. Yes.
Yes.
But Malaya left right after the briefing. You guys did it. Malaya left right from the briefing.
5 minutes before us, yeah.
Yeah, right after the briefing, up at the briefing. She never came back to the house.
No.
You
So
guys
it wasn't Saturday morning that she had.
No, it was Saturday afternoon after the
It
briefing.
was Saturday evening. I think around supper time-ish.
Yeah, after the briefing at 4:00.
Yeah.
After the briefing, so the briefing was at 4 o'clock. How long did it last? An hour? Well, let's continue. I hope it's not too painful.
But yeah, no. And the blanket was in the garbage. The cops even went and found the other half in there.
Yeah, as far as I knew, the blanket was on the railing.
Yeah, no.
That's what Cheryl says now. The blanket was on the railing, and she says, Logan says, in the garbage.
The cops came and collected the other piece. After the other piece.
So there were two pieces. One was on the railing or on the trees, and the other in the garbage. Interesting.
Was grabbed from the trees.
Yes, where we found it.
Okay, so Malaya's friends found it.
I'm still trying to place who you are, but
But I don't know. That's Logan, right? As I've said in my other video, she's basically telling her, you're not important enough for me to be known. You're not important enough to be on this channel. You need to explain to us how you have a right to speak.
That's okay. There's so many people.
So no, go ahead, Cheryl. Just identify, like, how do you know Malaya? You said you were good friends with Malaya?
Yeah, I don't really want to touch on that kind of stuff. Kind of just respecting her privacy right now, but I just kind of picked up on a couple of things that you had said, and I wanted to clarify that she most certainly didn't leave Saturday morning. It was Saturday into the evening after the briefing.
yeah, Susan probably misspoke because I said that in our
No,
first.
that's okay. That's okay.
Where we said where she left because I put the baby in the car for her and her.
None of it is okay because we want details. We want accuracy here. I put the baby in the car for her.
And her mother drove off. But you guys were supposed to come back from Malaya's car and you guys didn't. Nobody took.
You guys were supposed to come back for Malaya's car and you guys didn't. What's the problem with that? Daniel wanted to talk to you a little bit more. Daniel was expecting for you to come back and have time alone with you and convince you to stay. That's why Logan is angry. You were supposed to come back. Her children are missing. And you're telling her what she's supposed to do. She felt comfortable leaving. And that's it. But she's hung up on that car. There's something about that car. I still don't know. Was it drivable? Was it completely drivable? Or, were there some issues with it? I don't know. But here we see where Logan steps in and where she feels the need to talk. You were supposed to. She's talking about Malaya like she's a little child. Easy to control, easy to manipulate. And who is supposed to do things that she expects from her to do, for her to do. Malaya is supposed to act in a certain way that aligns with her expectations.
Took Malaya's car and it got repoed.
Nobody took Malaya's car and it got repoed. Repo, as in repossessed, would be you don't make your car payments and it gets towed for not making your car payments. So again, every little thing she says, remember with Kathy Bowersox talking about seeing Seth that morning. She mentioned he smoked. He's sitting in his car smoking on his phone, not on the phone, but on his phone. He's doing his thing. He's just sitting there, inactively sitting there on his phone. There's a big difference between on the phone and his phone. And smoking. She needed to mention that Seth was smoking. These so-called little dicks are actually huge because they indicate a desire to discredit somebody, even if it's not that much of a discrediting thing, right? But the fact that she says, I still don't know who you are, I still don't know if you're important enough. Remember what Belinda said. Belinda came onto the scene, Logan was there, and told her, who are you? You gotta go, get out of here. And tried to push her away. If you have no business being there. Being idiotically bossy is something that happens when somebody who's not that bright grows up around people even less bright, which is why she feels elevated, because she, knows what level her cousin Daniel is on. So she feels like entitled to take care of the situation. I will fix it for you. Nobody took Malaya's car and it got repoed. No, that's the other dig. Dig number one is, who the hell are you? I still can't. You're not important enough for me to remember. So you must not be important enough to even be on here. You shouldn't even be on here speaking at all, which is interesting. And using the term repoed in order to, a very negative term. No, she told them to get it towed because she didn't want to come back.
By the what is it? The search and rescue guy got it towed.
Yeah, there we go. There's the truth. The search and rescue guy got it towed. Exactly. Because she said, I don't want to go back there. There was an altercation. I have no desire. And Logan did not like that. She is there only for Daniel. That's why she offered to take care of Meadow. The last thing they wanted is Malaya to be out of Daniel's life, in her freedom, with her family, living protected by the tribe. This is exactly what he didn't want. He's used to having control over her. And I believe Logan witnessed that many times. And that's why she figured, I am going to come and make sure that it stays that way. And by the way, her children are missing, and you're worried about this car, who's towing it. Daniel wanted to have a chance to talk to Malaya again, and I believe there are many times that he probably sweet-talked her when she wanted to leave, because I doubt that Malaya really, really was happy there. So she was probably complacent, got to the point where she just disconnects, plays on her phone all day. But there must have been many times where she probably felt like, what the hell am I doing here? I could probably do better.
Back to wherever Malaya was. So you guys, I thought her stepsister or whatever was supposed to take the car.
And what the hell is that to you? If the RCMP says, we're going to do it for you, why is she so hung up? I mean, some of you have said that maybe the car was broken and Daniel didn't really took his time to fix it because he didn't really, I don't know. These are rumors, I guess, but they could be also considered claims that could be very valid. Actually, they might be pretty valid. I mean, the way that she's talking right now indicates to me that there's something important about him holding on to something that she has to come back for. That's why he still mentions all of the clothes, all of her belongings are still there. Why hasn't she picked them up? And these belongings probably gave him hope. Oh, I'm going to get to talk to Malaya again. I can talk her into being. And by the way, yes, the comments are so valuable. Why would Malaya take these 2 shirts? Steal, as he said it, steal 2 shirts from Daniel. while leaving all of her own belongings over there. So in my opinion, this indicates that these shirts may have disappeared alongside the children with the children. And this is his way of him communicating to Malaya and reminding her, we both know what happened to my shirts. Saying something that she will not refute, because otherwise they're going to enter an area they have sworn to each other they will avoid. They have agreed on a script, and he's straying from it because he's telling her, look, that script was, we agreed on it, but I was under the assumption that you were going to stay with me. So he's also digging a little bit, letting her know, you know what happened. And yes, absolutely. These two shirts, I believe, were removed possibly alongside the children. As horrible as it sounds, but yes, that's why he didn't want anybody to know. He couldn't tell people what they had on because nothing that they owned, clothing-wise, was missing. Clothing in terms of what they would wear outside.
That was after the whole altercation because they were trying to get Malaya's grandmother out of the house because she didn't want to leave.
I don't know. That's not really relevant to...
It's not relevant at all. Exactly. So she may be Malaya's friend, but she's able to communicate, like, what the hell are you talking about now about the car? What was that last part? About the grandmother and
Malaya's grandmother out of the house because she didn't want to leave.
Why does Logan get so hung up?
Because they were trying to get Malaya's grandmother wherever Malaya was. So
back to wherever Malaya was. Like, how dare she go, and we don't know where she is, wherever Malaya was. She's irritated by that because she wants complete control over Malaya for Daniel. She wants her cousin to have complete control. And she knows that he is, for the lack of a better word, he feels like he's suffering. She feels like he has a right to suffer, or call it suffering, that he wants her back really badly. And how dare this dingbat leave my cousin? That's how she's feeling. I'm putting words into her mouth here, but this is how she talks to Malaya's friend and talks about Malaya. It's pretty obvious. So,
you guys, I thought her sister was her stepsister or whatever was supposed to take the car.
Insignificant.
That was after the whole altercation because they were trying to get Malaya's grandmother out of the house because she didn't.
They were trying to get Malaya's grandmother out of the house, so why did Malaya leave? She's giving us a different reason. This is supposed to be the only reason to get grandma out. How dare you have your own free will? How dare Malaya have her own free will and make a decision now? And of course, she's trying to dismiss it like, oh, the evil mother, she put it all on her. But now you have a friend speaking for Malaya. And that friend is now, she feels threatened because this person can now give the real story of what happened. Malaya, her friend, having her own mind. Surprise, surprise. And Logan feels extremely threatened by that.
Want to leave.
I don't know. That's not really relevant to anything I was talking with Susan about. I'm not.
Who
was
didn't?
Supposed to take the car. That was after the whole altercation because they were trying to get Malaya's grandmother out of the house because she didn't want to leave.
She didn't want to leave. Malaya's grandmother. She had no idea where the children are. Nobody told her. Malaya was ready to leave. Malaya knows what happened, but the grandmother, you see, this would be something expected. I'm not leaving until my great-grandchildren are back. This is something, again, Malaya left because she knew what happened. She knew they were not coming back.
I don't know. That's not really relevant to anything I was talking with Susan about. I'm not touching on the vehicle.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that Malaya did not come back to the house. She left right from the briefing. You left.
Yes, absolutely. I was with her.
Guys, I hope I'm not mixing them up. I cannot always tell if it's Logan or if it's... Maybe I should have listened to this on the other channel, right?
I just want to say, Cheryl, it really seems that you're sharing conflicting information between Logan and you. Like, it sounds like, I don't want to sound rude, but like you're saying false things a little bit. And
who the hell are you to say we are saying false things? You're running with what Logan is saying. And you have no business doing that, being her mouthpiece.
Like what?
Well, you said about you were like coming in here to correct people about the blanket.
Yes.
And
you...
Because it was on the railing, that's what I was told.
Oh.
But if you were there to take it from the garbage,
or in the garbage, it doesn't
really hold on. We need people to just speak one at a time so that everybody in the chat can hear.
Oh, this is an annoying person.
No, that's okay. It's just, it gets really confusing for people that are trying to listen to what's going on. So, DJ is making the point, Cheryl, that, and I don't want anybody accusing anyone on the panel of... I'm not. Yeah. No, I know you aren't, but I'm just going to... It's something that I noticed. Sorry to interrupt, but... So she's just simply saying that you had come up on the panel to clarify some things that had been said. Yes. And one of those things was that I had said that the blanket had been put in the garbage by Daniel, and that I had gotten that from Logan and Mackenzie. Logan is here. She verifies that. Mm-hmm. You had said no, the blanket was on the railing. Now you're saying you thought it was on the railing. Is that correct?
No, I was told it was on the railing.
Okay. So are we okay in agreeing that the blanket was put in the garbage?
No, we're not.
I really don't.
We are still not going to agree on that, because I don't take Daniel's word on it, especially Logan's, not either. I want to know who told her. And then we can ask that person. Just because she is not sure, hey, I'm not going to take Daniel's words on it.
No, I don't think it matters. All I know is the blanket was found in the trees up on the road.
Okay.
Half of the blanket was, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, half of the blanket. There we go. How did half of the blanket get up there on the trees? You see, that's the interesting part. If Daniel put it into the trash, then what did he do? Did he climb up on the trees and leave the other half there?
Yeah. So it does matter.
I wouldn't even call it half. Just a piece of it.
Okay, so it does matter where the blanket was. Actually, it is a significant piece to the story.
Why? Oh my God.
For the investigation.
Exactly. It's already a story to her because she doesn't really care either way, right? To her, it's a story, and it'll get her content.
Yeah, the mother pieces, it all matters. So just, Cheryl, I appreciate you being here. I really do. I just want to make certain that and it's not just to Cheryl, but if you if you think something, like you just said, well, I was told it was on, that's absolutely fine, and that's valid to say. Just make sure that you don't put across something as fact that you don't know as fact, but somebody told you.
Didn't you just agree that part of the blanket was on a tree? That is huge. That is absolutely big. How did it get up there? Or railing? How did that piece of, that's even more? Did they cut it up? How was it torn in almost half, or was it cut? How was a blanket examined? I know you can do that. That would be very interesting. Very eye-opening.
Or something that you think, just make sure you make that clarification so
Yeah,
that
blah,
everybody
blah, blah, blah,
understands.
blah. Go
Right,
brain.
yeah. Did I see it on the railing? No.
Okay.
Did I see it in the tree? Yes. Did I see it in the garbage? No.
Oh,
No, but we,
oh, she saw it on the tree. At least a piece of it, but she didn't see it. See, that is very important. I'll get back to this.
the cops know it was in the garbage.
The cops know it was in the garbage. Okay, that's Logan here. But I'm talking about the other piece of the blanket. The one that Daniel denied belonged to Lilly, right? Why did he do that? Malaya said it was Lily's blanket, and Daniel first said no, it wasn't. Why did he lie?
Maybe all about it.
Have
But-
asked about
yeah,
it,
exactly.
but yeah. No.
I seen it in the tree too. That's why I knew.
You what?
I said I was there when you found it in the tree. Like I was there 2 seconds after you guys found.
So why are you saying that it was in the garbage? You should say part of it was in the tree. But that's not something that she wants people to think about.
Yes, yeah.
Logan, can I
okay.
ask you a question? Was the whole garbage bag taken with the half of the blanket in the garbage bag that was torn open?
No, see when Daniel found out about the blanket in the tree, because he was in the woods before knowing about it.
He was in the woods before knowing about the blanket. Okay, let's see why that's important.
And found out after Malaya left about it. He went up
Okay, and
out to the garbage because we all mentioned the blanket.
okay, now she starts to stutter. Okay.
So he went out. He goes, I put that blanket in the garbage. I'm gonna say about a week ago because it was ripped.
Really? And you felt the need to tell us it wasn't Lily's blanket? Am I getting this right? It was ripped, and then part of it was in a tree a week ago.
So him and I forget who else. I think it was his brother. Went out, videoed it all, opening up the garbage and like checking around, and you could see it. So like we called the cops right after that.
Oh,
Like
you videoed it. Remember, okay, listen to this. Listen to what Cheryl never said. Cheryl said she never saw the blanket in the garbage, okay? So whom do we have to go by? Daniel. And it was ripped. So an old garbage bag was ripped, open, Did he shove this piece of the blanket in there and then call police and say, oh, the blanket is actually in the garbage? It kind of sounds like it could have been planted by him, right? It's why it's so sensitive. And remember, she said, the police can verify that the blanket was in the garbage. But the cops were called right after that. So the cops can only verify what was in the garbage after that.
Our CMPs came right out after that. But
They did not find it in the garbage. They were called because Daniel said, look in my garbage. So it was ripped open. That sounds like he's taken an old garbage bag that maybe was there for a few days and shoved this blanket in there. I still don't know exactly why, but there's something really sensitive about this blanket. But I don't want to make too many conclusions, and I'm definitely not going to guesses. So the truth is coming to me. You see how the process works? We're getting there. But while I analyze, I make sure I get the story and the timeline actually straight here. Without any of this blah, 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 and maybe this and maybe no. We need to keep it factual. So Malaya's friends found it in the trees, the piece of the one half of the blanket. And I don't care if it was 30%. Let's just say half of the blanket they found it. And Logan said, she saw it, yes, she admits to it. So what Cheryl heard, I don't care if she was there and saw, she saw it on the tree. No matter how both of them try to discredit her. And so does this moderator. But Cheryl is right, it was up there. Unless I'm getting something wrong here. Feel free to correct me. Is it really that simple? Yeah, it seems like it. Cheryl saw it, both of them saw it in the trees. Not in the garbage. Daniel later. Daniel came out and said, oh, guess what I found in the garbage? The other half of the blanket. So, after he said it wasn't Lily's blanket. Make it look like it's been in the trees for a week. That's what the point was. He said he ripped it open and the blanket was. And what exactly did the video? I want to hear this again.
went out to the garbage because we all mentioned the blanket. So he went out, he goes, I put that blanket in the garbage, I'm going to say about a week ago because it was ripped. There when you found it in the tree, like I was there 2 seconds after you guys found it.
If you think something, like you just said,
she's an idiot. That moderator is a complete moron. And I don't care if I sound nice. Forget this. Be kind. I don't believe in. I am being real. I'm not being fake. I also don't really believe in. I believe in basic politeness, but I don't believe in overdoing it either. If somebody doesn't give you, you react to things as they come to you. Otherwise, you will miss everything. Listen to this.
I was told it was on. That's absolutely fine, and that's valid to say. Just make sure.
Shut up and don't lecture us.
Put across something as fact that you don't know as fact, but somebody told you, or
then ask her, what exactly did you see? What did you see? And now she'll tell us.
Something that you think. Just make sure you make that clarification so that everybody understands.
Right, yeah.
Moron, make sure you tell us that you only know Logan from a live and maybe an online conversation. Or maybe a phone call or whatever. And don't be her mouthpiece. Listen, people, be very careful. Don't object yourself to any types of these channels and their agendas, because their agenda is to have these people on there and make money with that. That's how it works. So don't listen to only what the people who were there and the people in the know are saying. So Cheryl, I give her, she was there. I want to hear, but don't be dismissive with her. Let her speak. And if she is vague, then clarify. That's your job as a moderator. That's what you have to do.
See it on the railing? No. Did I see it in the tree? Yes. Did I?
Yes, she saw it in the tree, not on the railing. Okay, let's get this very clear. She saw half of the blanket on the tree.
See it in the garbage? No.
Yes, exactly.
No, but we,
Listen to Logan right now.
the
Getting
cops know
stuck.
it was in the garbage.
How did, no, they don't. We just heard it. They knew it was in the garbage when it was pointed out to them, but they didn't know where it was before.
Yeah,
There's
no,
a video about it.
Have
But-
asked about
yeah,
it,
exactly.
but yeah, no.
I seen it in the tree too. That's why I knew.
Ah, that's Logan, right? You saw it in the tree too. Okay, that's the interesting part. Let's hear.
You what?
I said I was there when you found it in the tree. Like I was there 2 seconds after you guys found it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So forget the railing. It was in the tree.
Yes, yeah.
So why you get hung up on the railing? You see, she's pointing out certain things that she thinks she can discredit her over.
Logan, can I
okay.
ask you a question? Was the whole garbage bag taken with the half of the blanket in the garbage bag that was torn
Let's
open?
hear it.
No, see when
You see how she gets stuck now?
Daniel found out about the blanket in the tree, because he was in the woods before.
Oh, okay. He was in the woods before, so okay, got it.
Knowing about it, and found out after Malaya left about it. He went out
After Malaya had already left?
to the garbage because we all mentioned the blanket. So he went out. He goes, "I put that blanket in the garbage. I'm gonna say about a week ago because it was ripped." So him and I forget who else. I think it was his brother. Went out, videoed it all, opening up the garbage and like checking around, and you could see it. So like we called the cops right after that. Like the RCMPs came right out after that. But yeah, it was in the garbage. The RCMPs came out and collected it and all. The bag was
I want to see the video.
still in the garbage bin, and the garbage bin was closed.
So it was still in the garbage bin, and the garbage bin, was the bag closed or was the bag ripped open? This is very important difference. Very important, people.
Who else? I think it was his brother. Went out, videoed it all, opening up the garbage and like checking around, and you could see it. So like we called the cops right after.
Opened the garbage and checking around.
Garbage and like checking around, and you could see it. So like we called the cops right after that. Like
Oh, the garbage was closed. The garbage bin was closed. The lid was on.
the blanket. So he went out. He goes, "I put that blanket in the garbage. I'm gonna say about a week ago because it was ripped." So him and
So how did this other half make it up on the tree?
I forget who else. I think it was his brother. Went out, videoed it all, opening up the garbage and like
Opening up the garbage and like,
checking around, and you could see it.
checking around and you could see it.
So like we called the cops right after that. Like the RCMPs came right out after that. But yeah, it was in the garbage. The RCMPs came out and collected it and all. The bag was still in the garbage bin, and the garbage bin was closed.
The bag was still in the garbage and the garbage bin was closed. I believe she's avoiding to tell us whether or not the garbage bag was ripped open. Yeah, anybody can close the garbage bin. Makes no difference. We are asking about the bag.
Okay. Just a clarification for somebody in chat.
That
Oh.
was torn open?
No, see no, but the cops know it was in the garbage.
Yeah,
There's
no.
So I heard so much about the blanket. I want to get now the exact statements down. But the cops know it was in the garbage. No.
a video about it.
Have
But-
asked about
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
but yeah, no.
I seen it in the tree too. That's why I knew.
You what?
I said I was there when you found it in the tree. Like I was there 2 seconds after you guys found it.
Yes, yeah.
Logan, can I
okay.
ask you a question? Was the whole garbage bag taken with the half of the blanket in the garbage bag that was
She's talking about the garbage bag.
torn open?
No, see
You see this? Garbage bag taken with the half of the blanket in the garbage bag.
That was torn open?
no. See when Daniel found out about the blanket in the tree because he was in the woods before knowing
Before knowing, yeah, always giving him an alibi, right?
about it and found out after Malaya left about it. He went out to the garbage because we all mentioned the blanket. So he went out. He goes, I put that blanket in the garbage. I'm going to say about a week ago because it was ripped.
So a week ago, it means it couldn't have any connection with this case.
I forget who else. I think it was his brother. Went out, videoed it all, opening up the garbage and like checking around.
Opening up the garbage, okay. They took the lid off, right? And checking a little, like checking around, like qualifying it.
And you could see it. So like we called the cops right after.
You could see it on top or in the already ripped open bag.
That. Like the RCMPs came right out after that. But yeah, it was in the garbage. There.
I want to know about the garbage bag. That's what she asked you, idiot.
Yeah, the RCMPs came out and collected it and all. The bag was still in the garbage bin, and the garbage bin was.
The bag was in the garbage bin. Was it ripped open?
Closed.
The
Okay.
garbage bin was closed. She asked about the garbage bag. You see the avoidance here? Yep, this sounds to me like something that Daniel could have planted there, or something that could have, well, let me not go so far right now. Let me back up a little bit and just let these statements stand there as they are. Okay.
Just a clarification for somebody in chat. Logan Ann McKenzie is Daniel's first cousin, is very close to the family and lives, relatively close by. She has been on our chat previously. Cheryl, Christina, it's the first time she's been on my chat, and I welcome her. And she was, from what she says, she was there at the time of the search, and she is affiliated in some way or a friend or something to.
From what she says, she was there. Logan said she saw the blanket in the tree right after you guys found it. So Logan remembers her. Wow. I mean, this is what's going on when you have... My
Malaya.
goodness.
Is that correct, Cheryl?
Yes.
Okay.
We've established this already.
I've watched your lives a few times. I just haven't said anything.
Okay, Cheryl. Yeah, somebody in chat was just asking, they said, who are these people? Can you please clarify for us? Now, Logan, I did
Yes.
have a question for you.
Sure, honey.
Did you watch Daniel's interview on CBC?
The new one?
we already gotten that one.
You'll watch I'm sure you'll watch his CBC interview.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it here when I get home from picking up the children.
But you had mentioned in my live about his mother's dog in the RV barking just shortly after 9 on Friday the 2nd. And when we were talking about the dog, you had made stated that the dog is really triggered
When Lily does that screaming?
Yeah, mainly by Lilly screaming, and is triggered by the kids.
Yes, because, well, what animal isn't triggered by animals to run when they're running around screaming and yelling?
Yeah.
Triggered by kids, yeah. And I had asked you I had said to you, well, wouldn't the dog have barked if somebody walked on the property?
Well, we already watched this, right?
I'm not 100% sure. Because
I'm going to let it run
That's
through.
exactly what I was getting at. I couldn't remember precisely your words, but you had said, yeah, I don't know, but you said.
No, you're right. I mean, I'm getting a lot of messages now about how nasty Logan is. Now, Logan is a nobody. But again, she feels like she's a step above Daniel and a lot of steps above Malaya. And she is using this angle, trying to create silence. And she hates it when somebody points out her own deception. Ain't that something? Ain't that something, people? And ain't it something that all these people who have crime channels don't see through any of it and are completely enamored by the presence of this nobody sucking up to her, going as far as to not attacking necessarily, maybe not the right word, but lecturing Cheryl, when the only important thing is really they found it in the trees. This blanket. I don't care about the railing right now. I care about the trees. And she is adding onto this attempt to discredit Cheryl. So is Cheryl hiding anything? Well, she's hiding her whole anything with Malaya, right? She doesn't want to get into that. But in this case, what she said, this seems pretty factual to me. No, I didn't see it in the garbage. No, I didn't see it on the railing. Yes, I saw it in the trees. That's when Logan comes, okay, yes, okay, because there are too many witnesses. So she's like, okay, I give you that. I got it there. And then who videotaped what? I don't know, but she's asked about the garbage bag. She's talked when Logan goes into the garbage bin. So the possibility of planting, yes. Why would you say that the cops saw it? And why would she mention videotaping? Because she knows there's no evidence that the blanket was actually already in there. The one that supposedly went missing a week ago. And Daniel was out searching, right? So he has an alibi. He couldn't have removed anything. This is to be noted. Her priorities and all the talk about the cars, about this car. She was supposed to know. You're talking about a woman, and I don't care how strange she acted. Her 2 children are missing. And I would say, yeah, you're too stressed to drive this car. I go with them. I'm leaving right now. My children are missing. There's an altercation. Of course, Malaya knows what happened. But you're not supposed to know what has happened, Logan. And you're worried about this car? When 2 children are missing, you're more worried about this car than Jack and Lilly. They wanted to keep Malaya as close as possible because Malaya and Daniel together concocted the story. And she worried if Malaya goes on her own, she cannot handle the silence. She can't keep quiet. They need to keep her around because otherwise she's going to sing like a canary to somebody. More and more people will know about it. We need to keep her really, really close. And she's got to be stuck with Daniel. Sort of like Chris and Katie Proudfoot are stuck with each other. That's why nobody can get through there. That's why it's not, none of them is going to tell on each other. Because in my opinion, they're both involved. So are they. But she thinks of Malaya as an idiot with the mind of a child who is going to be controlled by somebody, who needs to be controlled by Daniel. And it would be dangerous to let her go anywhere. That's probably her angle. And Daniel, of course, he wants her back, but also feels similar, about the same thing.
That I do know.
I hope this wasn't too confusing to you guys in terms of who's talking and who's not, but I think you guys can now tell which voice is which. And Cheryl is a lot softer spoken, a little more passive, and Logan is just super aggressive. She just goes for the jugular. And so I believe it was her who said, I don't know who you are, and I'm trying to explain to me why you're important, why you have a right to speak on my channel here, right? Because Cheryl pointed out, yeah, she knows, she listened to the lives, and she wanted to clarify things. She heard Logan, she knows who Logan is.
That the dog is.
I just want to make sure I get these things really, really straight, because otherwise people will comment and say, oh, but no, you're wrong about here. So I think I'm right about this, okay? I'm not a voice analyst, but I just want to, sort of disclaim this for myself. I think I'm right in this one.
Triggered by the sound of the children.
Yeah.
Okay, and the only reason I raised this is that Daniel said in the
I will let this run through because I want to get... Oh, actually, you know what? How long have I been on here now? Hour and 2 minutes. I guess I'm going to stop and then get back to more later. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave me a comment. Stay tuned for my next video.